Are you ready?
No.
You said that last week.
Is it a silly question?
It's not a silly question. It's a practical question.
You can never be ready.
Ah.
You can never be ready to... What are we even doing?
Um.
Podcasting? What's the verb for this strange activity?
Uh. To pontificate.
No.
To podcast.
I think that's it.
To present.
Anyway, you can't really be ready to do that 5 minutes after you just got up. I mean...
Well, you can, because you're superhuman.
That's true, but that doesn't mean that I'm ready. I'm never ready. I've noticed, you know how sometimes when you do a little change in your life, it kind of changes a lot of things. One of the things that I have learned, one of the big lessons of life that I have learned when I started exercising every day, is that you can never really be ready for what's coming. But you have to do it anyway.
Oh, haven't I been saying that for like 10 years? I've been saying that like every day for 10 years, and I think
I don't
you
really
ignored
listen
me
to
for
you.
Fuck off. For the first 9.5 years.
But it's one of those things that you have to learn by yourself. Somebody tells it to you and it just sounds like a cliche. You have to learn everything by yourself.
No.
It's one of those lessons that you can't just believe somebody who says it. You have to experience it, otherwise you won't understand it.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with the fact that you need to have experience and that you need to understand it, and then you need to do things by yourself. I take those things for granted. But having a guide along the way, or having someone who points you in the right direction, is kind of important, because without that direction you might never go down that road.
Or having somebody who will come and say, I told you so.
Oh, I never say that, ever.
You just said that.
That's...
You just said
It's going to
that.
be carved on my gravestone.
Yeah. I told you I'm going to die eventually.
Yeah, there you go.
I told you so.
That's it. Here lies, I told you so.
Yeah.
That'll be it. That'll be my epitaph.
Uh-huh.
I told you it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew it wasn't a good idea.
I told you 50 years ago. Oh, God.
You didn't listen.
Yeah.
Did you, Murray?
Oh, dear.
No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been saying that for 10 years, that you didn't. Nobody's ever ready for anything. And
You cannot be ready. How can you possibly be ready for it? It's crazy. You can never be ready.
well, it's the difference between what you want and what you need. That's what it is.
I don't give a damn about that when I'm going to exercise.
Well,
What I want and what I need, you know?
But that attitude is what I described.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think like that.
But in order to explain it to people, which is what I have to do, because I can't just tell people, do this or do that. I've got to give them a cogent and comprehensive reason for
Coffee.
the action. Coffee is the reason. What was I saying? Coffee just put me off track.
I like it. I don't exercise because I need to. I exercise because I like it. But I don't like the exercise. But I like how you feel after you exercise, and I like being stronger.
Do you want me to break that down?
Right?
Do you want me to really break that down?
No.
Because you contradicted yourself there. Because
Yeah, I know that.
actually,
that was conscious.
yeah, because you really do. You really do need it. 'Cause
Yes, I
everybody
look.
needs it.
I understand that everybody needs it, okay, but in my head, I don't make the conscious decision to exercise because I need it. I make the conscious decision to exercise because I want it, because I like it, because I like how I feel, and because it's fun. And I'm not like you. I don't go like, I have to do this for my health. I don't enjoy it. Like I ask you, oh, how was your jog? Did you enjoy it? I don't do it for enjoyment. I do it because I have to, because I need to be healthy. I actually really enjoy it on some level. It's. I mean, yes, it's hard and you're dying and everything hurts, but it feels so good when you smash that those burpees, and when you smash those commandos, and you're like, I couldn't do 10 3 weeks ago and now I can do 15 without a break. It
What's
just
a
feels good.
what's a commando?
Oh, it's when you're planking and you go up on your hands and then you go down on your elbows. It's when I make those noises.
Oh, I just thought you were in pain.
It's when I go.
It's what, like every time you get out of bed.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's just a bit more frequently.
Oh, do you think that's why Babka makes those noises?
She's doing commandos in the loo, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
That
she's
must
got
be
her
it.
her special grandmother's commando position. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, but I'm never ready for it. I'm always dreading it
Yeah, look,
at the
if you're
same
not,
time.
yes, but that sort of suggests that it's not actually something that you want, because you just said that you're never ready for it and you're dreading it. Well, surely if you want something,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking forward to it, and then you just said I'm not looking forward to it. I don't know. It just seems confusing to
I
me.
am
What?
looking forward to it.
Yeah, but just oh, great. So I'm dreading it, but I'm looking forward to it. I do not understand that
It's
perspective.
weird. I know it's weird. It's like I imagine it's a bit like jumping off a plane with a parachute, or
Jumping
like
out of a plane
Yeah.
rather than off a plane.
it doesn't matter.
'Cause I'm
It's
pretty
flying.
Sure,
It's not parked.
I'm
Or like going to a roller coaster or something. You're
no, I don't. What?
it's like that. It's gonna be fun on some level, and it's gonna be scary on another level, and it's gonna probably make you throw up on a third level, but you still want to do it and you look forward to it. It's a weird thing. I know it's a weird thing. I'm really looking forward to going to the gym today, because it always spices up my routine. I'm really looking forward to pulling that bloody cable.
I've got cables you can pull.
I hope you've got cables that I can detangle first before I pull them.
A cableless world will be a beautiful place, except weird appliances will be connecting themselves to other weird appliances, and you'll want to Bluetooth your earphones to your phone, but they'll actually connect to your mirror or something.
Can you imagine one day people won't have any cables? Can you imagine?
I don't have any cables attached to me.
You know what I mean? I don't mean like, obviously. I need to go.
What?
Yeah, I know we just started, but I can't
Already?
influence that. Pause it.
Oh, okay. I'll pause it. And we're back.
We're back. Sorry.
Don't burst your bubble.
Don't brush my bubble.
What?
I was thinking that
Were you?
I was thinking about what you said the other day when you were looking at your stats.
Good.
And it is quite possible that somebody, somewhere, in America, in the vast, massively huge ocean of people that live in America,
It's a land of people, not an
one
ocean of people.
one person
Yes.
in that huge group over there
Americans.
might be listening to this,
Um,
and they thought
well,
that
it's not might. They will be. According to the stats, I think it's there are there are more than 25 people who rewind back to the start. Thank you. Right. There are more than 25 people who listen daily to the podcast.
what's this?
To the podcast, to my podcast, daily. Is it daily? Hello, daily. Hello. No, you're right. I expected some kind of response other than like a deer in the headlights kind of stare there.
That was a stunned silence. I just don't know what to say to that. It's
Okay.
shocking.
Okay. No, the last statistic was 27 people listen on a daily basis, plus another 25 plus who listen irregularly.
25 people. My God, I'm gonna be like I'm having a stage fright now.
Stage fright.
A bed fright or
Uh,
pod fright. What's it called when you've got stage fright when you're podcasting? Is it pod fright?
That's a new term. I don't know. I was just wondering if there was a strange language connection between the Slovak word for bed
Mm-hmm.
and postulate. Like posture
No.
and postulate. I was wondering if there was any connection, or that's just like an odd thing to.
No, I would think there's more connection between post and postal.
Oh, the bed would be like the posts, the
Because
four
you've
poster
got-
bed thing.
What?
The four poster bed thing.
Yeah, something like that.
You don't know what that is, do you?
The posts of the bed that's got those posts, the post things around it.
Not the Royal Mail kind of post.
No, not postmen and postwomen. No.
Although they probably did originally stand by posts. That was probably their job.
Possibly.
No,
Anyway.
they did, because that was where the mail was delivered to a post.
Was it
Yeah, and
office? To a post office.
and wasn't it like originally it was delivered by people on horseback who like went really fast.
I'm
And
sure
then-
it was.
Then it changed to
I'm
trains.
sure it was
planes,
delivered by
and things.
pigeons and squirrels and things.
Squirrels. What the squirrel post?
Okay, maybe not squirrels, but it would have been extremely cool if it was
What are all these
delivered by
nuts
squirrels.
doing in my letterbox?
People didn't have letterboxes. The squirrel would just tap on the window. Tap on my window, knock on my door.
I wanna make you feel beautiful.
Ah,
Something like that.
I had a dream about translating. I was translating
No,
in
no,
my
that's
dream.
your job. That wasn't a dream.
It was a dream. You know how I know it was a dream?
I had a dream.
Because I was translating from French, and it was a marketing leaflet about erasers.
What?
Erasers. It's the marketing for erasers.
That's just really weird.
And it said, with huge letters on it, it said, "Do you need to erase?" It said something like, "Voulez annuler," or something like that. And I was translating
That's very
a leaflet.
weird. Total Recall
I know, right?
brain fuck stuff.
So I was translating this big leaflet that said, "Do you need to erase?" Yeah. Possibly. Can you
Much-
help with that?
That's much nonsense.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
You know
It's-
how
it's terrible when you dream about translating and then you wake up and then you have to do the thing that you dreamt about, you know?
well you don't get a break then. You just
Exactly.
feel like you're constantly working.
It would be so much nicer if I dreamt about lying on the beach or something.
Or just weren't translating, just like kind of woke up and lay on the beach.
And then go to sleep and dream about translating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that
there
would be
you go.
great.
There you go. Why not, right?
You know how Will says, dreams are like movies in your head. Well, this one was extremely boring.
So there you go. It was surprisingly easy to make that cartoon strip yesterday.
Yeah, it was great though.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I thought, I also thought about the fact that he can draw if he wants to draw a cartoon. If he wants to go back to drawing, he can just draw the pictures, and he can scan them, and then he can add the speech bubbles and things in his whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't have to scan it. You can just take a picture of it with the phone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, why do you think I wanted him to go over it in darker pen? So that you could take a picture of it
Yeah, I know that.
instead of pencil.
I know that. But what I'm saying is that he makes it. He doesn't go into much detail because he doesn't like the writing aspect. So if he just doesn't write on it at all, and just adds the bubbles, I don't know. It's probably a bad idea. I don't know.
He should do another one. I mean, the first one was pretty good, but he should do another one and
Oh, he will.
sort of upgrade it.
It's not about what he should do. I know he will do it because he likes it.
And then
He's going to
what
do
we
it with
could
the
do is-
ponies, I'm sure.
no, because you need something to take a picture of. So
Yeah.
you know what he could do? He could.
Well, he's got those little. The girls have those little plastic ponies.
Oh yeah. He could do something with that. I mean, he got
Mhm.
into it yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could. I could take the image and get it printed like professionally,
Mm-hmm.
and it would actually look
In
like
colour.
yeah, and it would look like a real sort of cartoon page.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be kind of motivational, I think,
Yeah.
to do something like that. It'd be a nice little project with a nice little end result. Because too often the end results of things are just bleh.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have something more secure. Something
Oh,
more
he's
definite.
he's getting better though. I mean, he's improving. It's an improvement. Good job. Good job.
Well, it's odd because yesterday I woke up and I wrote down a list of things I wanted to do during the day. I got my list of, I'm definitely going to do these things on the left, and the right is like, I want to think about these things.
Mm.
And one of the things on the right side of the paper was make a real cartoon strip.
Mm.
And then in the morning you started talking about the cartoon strip.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was weird, that I already had it in my plan for the day. And then you started talking about it.
That's me. I always start to talk about things after you've already thought about them, or after you've told me so.
I'm not sure that that's the case. You know how the stupid stuff from our childhood just stays with us? Like the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you kept mentioning the word dream,
Mm-hmm.
and it triggered in my brain
Oh God.
the Scottish Football World Cup song from the early 80s.
Okay.
Isn't that odd?
I
and
don't know.
Weird and unusual. Because
It is
the
odd.
lyrics are, I have to explain, because the lyrics are, I have a dream, if dreams come true, then Bonnie Scotland, I'll play for you. Which is ridiculously retarded, I know.
It is slightly, but there you go. Yeah, I know. I know you remember things like that. Like the, that's
I
like
can't
that.
remember Shakespeare, right? I can't quote you more than 2 lines of Shakespeare, but I could quote you the entire lyrics for the Scottish Football World Cup song.
Oh, I've got classic Slovak poems seared in my brain forever and ever.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a classic? I mean, at least it's not the lyrics to Madonna's "Like a Virgin" or something, which
Touched for the very first time. That's in there as well.
um, amongst the classical poetry.
Oj morho, detvo môjho rodu, kto kradmou rukou siahne na svoju slobodu, na tvoju slobodu. A čo i tam dušu dáš,
Stop
to
it! You're
boj
scaring
ti
me.
boko.
Stop it! Stop it! You've turned into a troll. It sounds like troll language. It's like what you'd expect some weird-looking small character to say in some strange video game or Lord of the Rings or something.
Morty len a voľ nebyť ako byť otrokom.
Take the path on the left.
No, it was like an uprising type poem thing.
What?
It was a poem that calls people to fight.
Hey, people, come fight.
It means kill them.
Well, that's just grand, isn't it?
Kill them, you children of my how do you say rod?
What, family?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Clan?
Yes.
Team?
Kill those who want to steal your freedom.
Well,
even
that's
if you die in that wild fight, just kill them and choose to die rather than to be a slave.
Oh, it is the declaration of our growth kind of thing, yeah.
I don't know.
Not till we shall never surrender our freedom.
Yeah, something
Not till
like that.
100 of us are left and blah blah blah. blah
Yeah,
blah,
something like that. Something
that.
like that. Yes.
Never. 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 Chop, chop, chop. The end. Just like one of Will's cartoons. He's got a good brain for stories.
It was a poem about the Turkish invasion. Sorry.
Turkish
yeah.
invasion.
Yeah.
What? Of Slovakia.
Yeah. Yeah, there were Turks coming to Slovakia for
holidays.
For holidays.
A long time ago.
No. For quite a long time, there were Turkish troops invading and raiding and doing things that Turkish troops do.
What were they doing in Slovakia? Were they lost?
I don't know.
Did
I
they get
don't
off the plane
find
in the
a
wrong place?
fuck would the Turks want to come to Slovakia, but there you go. I don't know. I guess the women looked nice. So, there you go.
Maybe.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Will has a great imagination.
He does.
He's good.
He pieces the stories together.
Yeah.
I was like, you have to plan out the story so that you can fit it into one page. And he's like, but I never know what's going to happen next.
That's the best way to do it. That's why it's fun.
I like the way you put the end in big letters on the last picture of the comic strip you made. It's like, Dad, do you like this one? It'll be the last one then. Yeah, it says the end.
I hated that when it was first introduced at school, because I liked to write stories as well, but when we were doing it at school, the teacher would insist on you have to write a like a how do you say osnova, like you have to write like points first to plan out your story, like what's gonna happen.
The
Structure, yes. And you have to have the introduction and the body, and then you have to have the end, and you have to have the she gave us the whole structure of a story, how it should be done, and together with the gradation and the climax and things like that. And I just thought, what? But that takes all the fun out of it. Why would you want to write a story if you know already how it's gonna end?
It's a good point. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you want to get from one point to another point.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it now, but I remember that as a kid, I found that so extremely demotivating. It was just like one of those things that the school takes and takes the fun out of it and then throws it back at you
Yeah.
and tells you, now do it. Now do it and see if you still enjoy it.
School takes the fun out of a lot of things.
It does. It does. And even if you still like the subject, it's going to take the fun out of it by stressing you out about the grades. You like biology? Just wait until you see that test that I've got for you.
Yeah.
Type thing.
There's too much of that. There's too much of the insistence on perfection rather than progress. There's too much of that. You should be getting A's and 1s. Not that that's a bad thing.
I mean, I understand the thing that I understand that you need to learn, right? There's one thing that I don't know. Well, I second guess about homeschooling, that I'm not having Will study things, or it's not. I do. I don't have Will drilling his memory. That's what I mean. You know, he doesn't look at the text and then cover it and try to repeat it in his head. You know what I mean? But he's going to need that when he starts learning things like I don't know, like chemistry equations and things like that.
I think memory comes more naturally to children than it does to adults. I think adults worry about those things too much. I think that
Yeah, you're not really a child when you're learning organic chemistry, though.
what?
The organic chemistry, you have like 2 pages of organic. What do you call it? What do you call the chemistry writings?
The periodic table?
No, what
The equations?
Are they called equations?
The formulas?
The photosynthesis, for example, yeah. The photosynthesis, when you write down the chemical process of photosynthesis, it's about 1 page, right? If you want to memorize that, it does not come naturally. you have to do like hard memorization thing.
Whoa. There's a sort of counterintuitive element there. I mean, if the process of photosynthesis is natural, how come the process of understanding it is not natural?
It's complex because it's complex.
Yeah, but it's natural. It obviously, A leads to B, B leads to C, C leads to D. If you follow the logical order of things.
Look, if you follow it, you understand it. Absolutely, somebody explains to you how photosynthesis works, and if you know something about chemistry and they write it down in the chemistry equations, you're going to understand it. But if you want to use it, if you want to be able to use it later for whatever you may want to need to use it, you need to memorize it. And to memorize it, memorization itself is not a natural process. Also, and he's going to need...
I could argue with that memorization is not a natural process. There's an argument against that.
He's going to need to memorize things to get to places, you know?
Well, it's not that he needs to memorize specific things. It's that memory is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
And that skill is always useful.
Yeah, and he's not really... I mean, he's using his memory, obviously, but he only remembers what he finds interesting or what... You know, naturally.
I remember what I find interesting.
Naturally, but he doesn't... It's not like, I want to remember that, so I'm going to consciously make an effort to memorize it. He doesn't know how to consciously make an effort to remember. Or maybe he does, but he didn't do it. It doesn't. It's not something that he does on a regular basis. Like, I'm going to memorize this poem, so I'm going to cover this page
Yeah,
and
but
try
do
to
you know
say
you know
it
what
in
the
my
problem
head.
is?
Oh,
Well, there's no necessity.
yeah, I understand that.
And that just getting someone to memorize something is completely pointless without necessity.
Well, it's not, because it's an exercise. It's a brain exercise, just like when you exercise your body. It's pointless to sit on a bike and push the pedals if you're not freaking going anywhere, right?
No.
But you're exercising so
no.
that your heart gets stronger, so that your lungs get stronger, so that you get better, right?
What's your point?
So memorization is just like that. You often memorize things so that your memory gets better, so that you learn how to do it, so you practice the skill of memorization rather than to remember the information, because you need to remember the information.
Yeah, but if
It's a practice, just like everything else.
But if the process is forced, then it will be rejected.
Yes, I know that.
Therefore, I think that the memorization of things comes naturally when things are interesting for you.
Well, but that's my question. Is he memorizing things consciously, or does he just remember them because they're interesting? There's a big difference.
There is a difference between those things.
There's a big difference.
The processes are the same, though.
No, they're not.
They are.
No, they're not.
The conscious process of memorization is always the same.
Look, I was a bit like Will. He's very academic, and he's interested in everything, and he remembers everything. And I was
What? You can't remember where you put your phone.
I was like that when I was
5
a
minutes ago.
shop. I was like that when I was a kid, yeah. And until I went for the first 4 years, I didn't have to study at all at school. Okay, I never opened a school book at home, because first of all, I already knew half the things I would learn. Second of all, I found them interesting, so I listened at school and I remembered from listening. Yeah. And third of all, I read a lot, different encyclopedias and things. So I retained a lot of information, and it all made sense, and so on and so forth. Everything was peachy and great, wonderful. Yeah. And then I went to the other school, and I started to need to memorize things to learn more, right? For example, I don't know, geography facts. Yeah. And I hadn't...
And why was it important to remember the geography facts?
To learn about geography, to retain more information.
Were they...
To not be ignorant.
Were those useful pieces of information that
Yes.
you still use today?
They were very useful, and
For
I can't
example?
use them today because I didn't learn them, because I didn't know how, because I didn't have the skill set of memorizing things.
I agree
It's
that
the same with
memorization is a skill.
same with history, for example. What's that useful for? Well, for general knowledge, to know what world is about, right? So, and I didn't, and it's sad, because I didn't know how to, because I didn't have that skill set. I didn't know how to learn. I didn't know how to study. I thought genuinely when I was a kid that just comes naturally to you by you just read something and naturally you remember everything. But
Well, you do. It's interesting.
well, you don't. You don't. If things are laden with facts and you need to remember years and things like that, you have to memorize them.
Yeah, I don't.
You know?
No. I'm gonna disagree with that. Not because I don't think it's a valid point, just because I think there's another side to it.
Of course, there's another side to it. There's
Well,
another side to
learning
everything.
things,
But it doesn't make it true
learning
or
things
untrue.
that don't have much relevance and might never have any relevance is kind of pointless.
But geography will always have relevance. History will always have
Whoa,
relevance.
whoa. Using geography is a huge subject, right? And
Uh-huh.
history is a huge subject. So you
Yes.
can't say that it will always have relevance, because When I was at school, 75% of what we studied in geography was irrelevant to my existence, and 25% was nice but distant, right?
It was then. I understand that as a kid you don't understand why it's important to know things about your world, why it's important to know what it's like in Cyprus or
Yeah,
what it's
well,
like
there's
in
kind of
Canada. Well, it is because the world is smaller than you think, and
I think it's bigger than I
you
think.
meet people, you may travel to those places, and it's important to know these things because it will help you to know the people and to understand the people and to understand the languages and to understand the culture and to understand the culture and understand the people. That means that you can make better relationships, you can maybe make better business decisions
Yeah,
in the
but that's
future, things like
okay.
that, you know.
If
It is
that's important,
important.
then that's dependent upon the quality of information, and it's really important to find the right kind of information and teach it in the right way. And I think a lot of times, dates, and places are very much presented randomly,
I know that's
and
wrong.
it's very difficult to
Yes,
uh, contextualize
I agree with that. Well,
those ideas.
that's why we homeschool, right? That's one of the reasons why we homeschool because it's better to offer the information in context, obviously, than to just throw numbers at people. But my point is that I don't know if
I was um I was watching you slave away last night on your computer
yes,
doing your work.
thanks for calling
Well,
it slaving away.
well, it's hard work, no?
It is, yes.
And you
Well,
didn't appear to be enjoying it
so
at the
sorry.
time. You appeared to be tired. And
I was tired.
it's,
It was like 11 o'clock at night. Well, you were sleeping then.
yeah, I was asleep by then.
But I don't know what time you were
I
watching me
pass
at.
out at about 9:30.
Oh well, I lasted till midnight last night.
Staying power. But I was watching you, and then I was looking at the kids,
Mm.
and I was thinking the kids are really enjoying what they're doing.
Mhm.
They're really into it, and they love
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And I was looking at you working,
Mhm.
and that was like the opposite.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, I don't want the kids to have that kind of future. Don't, oh my, don't take that the wrong way, right? I'm not saying I don't want the kids to be like you.
Mhm.
I'm saying the adults have got it so fucked up, right? A lot of the time, they've got it so messed up that you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? I mean, they're 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 working away hard at something, but they're not enjoying what it is that they're doing. And I think when you enjoy what you do, you progress further because you and I'm not saying everything should be fantastically enjoyable and everything should be easy because it's enjoyable, but it just seemed to me to be wrong. You okay there?
Milk tastes weird.
It's fresh milk.
Mm.
Opened the bottle this morning. Anyway, um, I just thought it just seemed to me to be messed up, right? It just seemed to me to be the wrong way around. And I was thinking that just in that moment, obviously,
Mhm.
where you were tired and you didn't seem to be enjoying it at all,
Well,
I was, I was thinking, I really hope that the kids can keep that sense of fun and enjoyment that they've got, and sort of take it with them into the future,
yeah,
rather than it transform into this sort of adult, well, the world is just the way that it is and I have to do this just because. And I know it's not just because, I know there's a higher purpose. But it was about the sense of enjoying something, enjoying what you're doing.
I think you also have to be careful about not to giving them too idealistic view of things because they're not going to enjoy as you already pointed out 100% of everything that they're doing, right? So you also have to make sure that they understand that. it's not realistic to have a job that you enjoy.
Excuse me. I was trying to hope I could sneeze. Oh my gosh. I don't know where that came from. Don't know where that came from. That's weird.
You know, it's important to also show them that it's not sometimes it's just not realistic, 100% not realistic to all the time enjoy everything that you're doing, obviously, right? So I mean, their job is going to be boring and hard and difficult at some points in time, inevitably.
Well, it's not that there shouldn't be difficulties, but I think the same way that you said that you enjoy the difficult parts of the exercise, right?
Don't exactly enjoy them.
What the hell is that?
That's my alarm clock.
What? You're already awake. What? What? Why is your alarm clock set for... What time is it? 7 o'clock. Time for a party. But you're already awake. Why did you set your alarm for 7?
I have an alarm clock set for every day for certain times, and this is one of the times.
7 times? You mean 7 o'clock?
So for certain times.
Oh, so certain times.
Mm-hmm.
What, randomly?
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Not randomly, no. This is my, just in case I sleep through all of the other alarm clocks.
What, you've got an alarm
clock.
You've got an alarm just in case you sleep through an alarm.
Yeah.
And it's the same alarm.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I set about 4 alarms usually in the morning. Because I'm very likely to sleep through the first 3.
There's a word. Why do we call it alarm? It's not really a very good word to use, is it? I mean, it suggests panic. We call it an alarm clock.
Well, I do panic when it starts. Because when you're in the middle of translating an eraser marketing leaflet, you kind of start panicking.
But that's a dream.
You kind of start panicking when something arouses you from that dream.
Yeah, it should be called something else though, because alarms are not really positive.
Good morning, beeper. Or
No, beeper's not a good word. It should be called the
annoying morning music.
The get up sound.
Annoying morning tune thing.
No, I can't imagine what that would be. Right. I don't know. You were saying that the kids should do more music.
Was I?
Yesterday. Yes. Have you forgotten?
Was I saying that the kids should do more music?
Yeah, you were.
Oh, you mean they should sing?
Oh, okay. I'll sing then. Okay. Well, I thought I included.
Yeah,
singing
they
as
should
part of
practice
music.
singing more. They've got great voices.
Will's voice is getting better
It
because he's
is.
just throwing himself into the songs
Yeah.
and she will be loved.
It has to get stronger. The voice is just like anything else. If you sing, it gets stronger. If you don't sing, it doesn't.
Singing is good for you anyway. All
Yeah.
the research shows that it's a
Yeah.
pretty healthy activity as long as it's not pig metal or whatever they call it.
Huh.
Grunt, squeak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
Under-
absolutely.
Ground, hardcore, whatever. What's the word?
Instruments.
Crust
Instruments would be cool as well if they could start playing instruments. Like real instruments, not the Xbox instruments.
But the drums are real.
Although I was thinking about it, and the Xbox instruments probably have the same kind of positive effect on the neural system like normal instruments, because you have to follow instructions and you have to hand-eye coordinate it, and you have to
It's
listen
perfect.
to it
It's
and
great
stuff.
for the rhythm and coordination,
Uh,
and that can transfer to the guitar. You just have to get the chord shapes right,
yeah.
and it's all. It's not a good thing. And also, it does actually begin to correlate to guitar at the higher levels. At the lower levels, it's very much just like the game
Yeah.
system. But at the higher levels, you have to move your
Of
fingers
notice,
so...
you have to
so
you have to do.
yeah, you have to move your fingers so quickly
Uh-huh.
that it does quite correlate to playing notes at times. You could even theoretically practice scales on that. It wouldn't be that big a progression onto the guitar. It wouldn't be that easy.
Well,
but,
there would be no point really practicing scales on your Xbox guitar, but
no, because that's not actually true. Because the scale patterns, you give me that weird look that you give me whenever I say something that you disagree with.
yes. Continue.
You're
I'm disagreeing internally.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the projection of disagreement is very powerful, right? Okay, so I had a friend once who said that he had to practice his guitar doing whatever, and he didn't have a guitar with him. I don't know, he was on some residential trip somewhere and he couldn't take his guitar, and his band had a concert and he had to practice. Yeah. So so he developed a system where the thumb represents the neck of the guitar. Yeah. And what you do is you practice your scales by hitting the tips of your fingers against your thumb quickly in the scale patterns. And he said by doing that, he said he was able to practice all the parts of his guitar without actually having the guitar there. And he said it wasn't perfect, but he said it did help quite a lot. So, following the same principle, you can actually do scales on the Xbox guitars.
Yes, but it is more practical to if you play real guitar,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
More
okay,
practical to practice on a real guitar.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if it's not a bad place to start, because you can get the patterns, right? Like if I show you the basic scale pattern is that, right? And if is that, yes, it's that fast. No, you spastic. You can't just randomly do whatever with your fingers.
That's what it looked like.
Because it was so fucking fast. My God. That's the basic scale pattern.
Is it?
Yeah. And you can once you've got that basic, and you can do that with just the 4 fingers on the Xbox. Once you've got that scale pattern, you can begin to do runs. When you can transfer that to a guitar.
Did you do C with your pinky? Because I always did C with this one.
What?
C. Well, scale. Was that a what kind of scale was it?
It doesn't matter because it depends where you are on the guitar.
It does matter.
That's a major scale. Starting at the bottom string, you would do this on the first string. You do this on the next string, and you do this on the string. Well, so
You only have 3 strings on your guitar.
no, I could do more, but I didn't want to fucking confuse you because you seem to be confused by
I'm
that.
confused because I don't know which scale you were doing. Was that a C major?
Okay, so imagine that each finger's on a different fret, right?
Yes.
So you've got 1.
Because when you're doing C major, you have to play this one first.
It depends where you are on the guitar and what you're playing. But basically, if you've got your fingers covering 4 frets, this is your major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your major scale. I would go and get a guitar and bring it here and prove it, but that would just be pointless.
Oh, I want you to show me afterwards, because
Maybe use.
I have no idea what
maybe
you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the major scale. Okay, if you imagine.
The major scale.
Yeah,
The
okay.
major scale.
Yeah, imagine.
Each
Imagine
scale
so
is
you're playing
different.
with.
Yeah.
You're not easy, are you? Right.
No.
Okay, so imagine you're playing with the. Imagine this finger here is the bottom last fret bar on the guitar. So you're playing open, yeah. And so you've got the first fret, the second fret, the third fret, right? So you're playing 1, 2, open. 1, 2, open.
Ah,
1, 2.
okay. I get you now. All right. You're using okay. Got it.
Ah, you got it. You
I
understood.
actually got
Oh
it.
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Because I thought that was like an impossible thing to explain almost.
Okay. Okay.
But now you get it.
Yeah.
And
I
you
get
can
it.
and you can actually do that on the Xbox guitar.
Kind of.
And not even know that you're doing it right. If you're just following the notes, you'd have no idea that you're doing one of those.
Well,
scales.
obviously you couldn't do the fret thing.
Yeah, but as you move up the guitar, the first finger becomes the fret wherever you go, becomes the bass wherever you go. So you do actually at higher points on the guitar.
I don't know. I haven't explored much further than the medium. Okay.
So you can do like a major scale and what is it, the minor fifth scale or something like that. And
Don't know,
it's pretty
but
simple.
I thought we should definitely introduce some real instruments.
Well, we have introduced real instruments already. Will has played the piano. You
Yeah,
can pick
but
up a
we
good
didn't.
second-hand keyboard on
We didn't
Facebook.
persevere. Yeah, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to practice here because the keyboard that Babka has is what?
Oh, I thought it was the kids. It's a bird.
It's a pigeon. It's a bloody wood pigeon.
Oh, excuse me? A bloody wood pigeon. What the fuck's a bloody wood pigeon?
It's the same thing as a freaking wood pigeon.
Do you see that woman on the
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 chimney there.
this is a woman with her head stuck in it? Yes.
Yeah, I
I
see
wonder
her.
how she
Yeah.
got there.
I don't know.
Right, what is she doing? A headstand, right?
Not that one.
On the Oot in a Boot in the village
Okay.
page,
Uh-huh.
that woman named all the birds in the
Yeah. Yeah.
little
By the sounds of them, yeah.
morning song
Uh-huh.
thing, and
Well-
there were like 10 different, at least 10 different birds.
My mum can do it. Not
she-
to such a huge scale, but she can name
State.
quite a lot of
Huge state.
birds by the bird song. Yeah.
And I was amazed because obviously I was like, oh, there's 3 or 4 different kinds of birds there, but there were
Probably
10.
they probably have wings.
Yeah, well, that's one of the
About as far as you go,
fundamental
right?
principles of bird, I think.
Yeah.
Got wings. It's a bird.
There's about
Oh,
3
no, that's a
birds. They
plane.
probably all have wings and beaks. That's all I can tell you.
2 legs. There you go. It's definitely a bird. It's flying around.
We should teach them that as well.
What? To fly?
And learn it at the same time. No, to identify birds by bird song.
I would be useless at that. It's a lovely skill to have. And I wonder how people, like, how do you get to the point where you're like, oh, this is this kind of bird and this is that kind of bird? Because I can't even imagine what scenario you would need to be in order to recognize the birds. And then you'd have to have
maybe you
somebody
learn
tell
it.
you which
Yeah,
bird is which one.
exactly. Maybe you learn it just the same way like I learned my trees. Maybe the lady used to have walks in the forest with her mother, and her mother taught her which bird makes which sound, and that's how she learned about it. And then she
Oh,
observed
so she
the
lived
birds.
she lived in a
and
fairy tale.
listened to that. No,
What, is that how you learned it?
by living in a fairy tale, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's how I learned my trees, right? I took a lot of walks in the forest,
Learned
and,
by trees.
and my mother would always show me which tree is what and how I can recognize it.
Especially if they move around a lot. Yeah.
This is John. You can recognize him.
Look, he's got
By
his
the-
name carved
the-
into his
The
trunk.
branches down there below. Look, he's waving at you.
Yeah, that was a fairy tale. You did live in a fairy tale. Where all the trees had names. and they moved
Anyway,
around.
instruments.
What?
Instruments. Real things.
What? Like, yeah, I saw you looking at a real drum kit the other day, and I was like, please, no, anything but that.
I bet you if you asked Will what kind of instrument he would like to play, that would be his first choice.
I bet he wouldn't know. I bet he'd be confused by the question.
I saw these electronic drum kits.
Yeah, I know. They're online. It's like you can pick one up for like 60, 70 pounds or something.
Does that mean that it's quieter when you practice?
It is apart from the foot pedal.
Can you like hook it up to your headphones and play?
Uh, yeah. They've usually got this headphone socket. You just plug in the headphones in, and they've got all the little timing and rhythm stuff elements.
That would be actually really cool. Because it wouldn't be so loud.
Um,
You know? You could put it in the bank. Can you imagine? the last stand, the last place where Bobby can find some peace. Having a drum kit in it. That would be so cruel.
mm, he could have it in his room, I suppose.
He could.
Um,
If you could squeeze it next to the football table and the racetrack.
it would be just as practical to have the Xbox stuff at the moment. You would learn more probably from drumming along to the songs, trying to hit the notes there than you would be sort of bored hitting a drum kit. I imagine up to a point.
It's different because it's different skill. It's a different skill. The stuff in Xbox is very much like a game because you're not learning about the notes and you're not learning about the you know what everything is called and how to get there, and it's different. It's like okay, it's like there's a difference. There's a difference between playing music from notes, playing guitar from notes, and playing guitar because you print out the just the bars.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what
not
I mean?
talking about the guitar. I'm talking about the drums, though.
Yes, but I'm trying to give you an analogy. It's very similar in that way. That you don't know what you're actually hitting, you know.
No,
You're hitting green, right?
No, I disagree about the drums. I agree that about the guitar that's correct, but I don't agree about the drums. I don't think that's correct with the drums. The same way with the singing, because it gives you the notes, it gives you the words.
It doesn't give you the notes.
It does.
It shows you if it goes high or low.
That's the notes.
But it's not
it's
the actual notes.
It is the actual notes.
They're not going to learn that they are now singing G.
No, it doesn't give you the name of it.
You know?
It does not give you the name of the note, but it gives you the actual note. It gives you on the screen the actual note. It does not give you the name of the note. But
I understand that, G. But the theory is part of the... Is part of...
you see, the theory is part of the practice. That's kind of
No.
contradictory.
I'm saying that the theory is part of what is useful about learning music. The notes and being able to follow them. What I'm saying is it doesn't give them the skill to... It doesn't give them the skill to... If they see a note on a stave, they wouldn't know how to name it and they wouldn't know how to sing it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's very important. I agree that.
It's not. It's handy as a beginning, absolutely. Yeah. But
Well, you know, in a lot of
to it.
traditional music, the music is not written down. It's all just spread around through people playing it to each other. And you know that requires a pretty high level ability as well. I mean, reading, obviously if you want a career in music, you need to be able to read and write music.
I think
no,
even if
oh
you
no,
just
that's
want to
not
be
true.
able
I
to
just
play
realised
for
that that's not
enjoyment.
true, because there's people in bands who can't read and write music and they make money out of it. So I guess
Also, there's a lot of people who only play for enjoyment, but they know how to read notes, and it's nice because you buy notes, and you put them on your piano, and you can start playing and find out what comes out.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
that's 0.001% of the population that that
I don't
affects.
care about that. I don't care about the statistics of how many people do that.
Yeah, I
It's a
think it's
nice thing to be able to do.
it's a nice thing to be able to do. It's slightly unrealistic for most people. It's a good goal to set. I don't know how you would achieve it though. I
Oh,
mean,
my
I'm
mother
looking
can
at.
do that. My sister can do that.
Can you do it?
No. I
Uh,
could at some
but
point in
you
my life. I couldn't
but you did
now
have
because I
training
forgot.
in that.
Yeah, I could do that 10 years ago. Or 15 years ago, I would be able to do that, but I didn't practice, so I've lost that capability.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at sustainable skills that can be developed, you know what's good
It's
about
not
that?
about sustainable skills.
It
It's
is
about
about sustainable.
opening. It's about opening windows of opportunities.
No,
How
the windows
how
of
will
opportunity are pointless if
how
people
will
don't
you
take the
ever
opportunity.
know if it's a sustainable skill to do if you don't try?
I'm
You
not
won't
saying
know.
I'm not saying don't try. I'm saying what's practical.
Well, I'm not saying
It's
it's
like,
practical. I'm saying it's enjoyable. I'm saying people do it for enjoyment.
yeah, a lot of people do, but I'm looking at the practicality of
Look, I could learn you
learning
how
it.
to fly, boy, but it's just not practical. Learn you, teach you. Sorry.
Yeah, and people can't fly, so that's kind of a weird thing to say. I think that well, one of the best parts of learning about music is the memorization. It actually trains the mind to remember things,
Well, there you go.
and that's a really good element.
I don't think it's one of the best parts. I think
I
one of the
do.
best parts is the math in it. You have to time things and the decoding as well.
What?
Decoding.
Decoding music?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, that's the process that happens when you read notes and you translate them into your movements.
Oh, it's like it's
It's
a code.
decoding. Yes, you have to do it just like
It's a
you
language.
just like you decode when you read. You
It's a
decode when you
language,
read
but it's a
notes.
language.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it decoding. I understand.
Well, it's what it's called. That's what
What
that
read
process
what
is called.
reading is called decoding.
Yes, that's the process that happens.
Unscrambling is what decoding is. Yeah, there's a difference between decoding and reading.
Would you
Reading
like...
is interpretation, and decoding is unscrambling.
No, you have to decode the code that has been written on the page. The writing on the page is actually a code that your brain decodes to understand the meaning of it, and it's the same with music.
Yeah, I wish more people would understand the meaning of what they're reading. I mean, very few people do. There's just probably
That's
more people.
irrelevant.
Uh,
The point is that the decoding part of when you play music is a great brainiac exercise. And just generally practicing your ear, really.
so how would you get the kids to do that apart from what it is that they're doing right? I think they should do more of the Xbox music stuff, and I think that would get them more involved, and I think they like it and they enjoy it and it's fun for them. And well, I don't know. What do you think?
No, that's one of the things that's done for purely for fun. So I think they should do it as much as they enjoy doing it. All right. They shouldn't do it just because you think they should do it more often. You know what I mean? So as long as they enjoy it, then let them do it. Why not? But I also think that they should be able to sit down and practice an instrument 5-10 minutes a day, a real one, because learning to decode the notes and learning about music, it's hard. So it's a hard work. It requires a massive focus. I mean, I knew that Will didn't exactly enjoy practicing his piano because it included a lot of brain work to read the notes and to press the right keys. And I think that's great. I think that's a good thing. I think that he should do that. He should go back to doing that. Because that practices the willpower and the what would you call it, the deferral of gratification,
Correct.
and
Yes. I always get that wrong.
and the patience, and everything. So I think we should introduce that as well. It's the basics, right? It's like we should make it a basic. It's like you have to do your English, you have to do your maths, you have to do your physical thing, your taekwondo, and it should be another have to, and you have to do your music.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Yeah, I'm not against that on a daily basis. Why do you think that I got the Xbox stuff? It's not so that they can play the Lego games, although the cooperative elements of it are quite interesting. And the Skillshare and explanation parts are quite useful there. Yeah, I wanted it for the physical movement games to keep them moving physically, and the music I didn't expect to get out of it as much as we got out of it, which just all feeds into my philosophy, which is you kind of never know what you're going to get out of everything. And I find that quite fascinating.
The music is fun. The music gives you the enjoyment of making music without the hard work. That's what it gives you, right? It's like what you imagine doing when you decide that you want to learn an instrument, right? When I decided I want to learn to play the guitar, I didn't picture myself sitting at the guitar every day, just strumming away on those freaking scales, right? That's not what you enjoy, what you imagine. When you decide you want to learn the guitar, you imagine playing nice songs that you like, that creating nice music that you like and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the thrill of that without the hard work of strumming away on those scales. So it's like the opposite of the deferral of gratification, right? So I that's what I like about it. That's why I enjoy playing with that stuff, because it
I don't think
gives you a little bit of challenge, and
I don't think that the hard work statement is entirely true. I don't think it gives it to you without the hard work. I think it is hard work to do those activities.
Look, it's not hard work. If you want to play it well, you do need to practice a little bit. But if
No, you need to practice a lot. I mean, the advanced level is. I mean, there's 5 levels, right?
Yeah.
And we can't get past the second level.
That's the third. The
No.
medium is the third.
Yeah, I'm not on fucking medium for the drums. Did you see me try to play medium on the drums? It was all over the fucking place. Right. And you were just playing the bass, right? There's no way you could do medium on the guitar. And bass is.
Oh, I'm gonna have to prove you wrong.
No, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on at the weekend, and you're just gonna be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." You're right, because I know that 100%. There's no way you're gonna be able to handle medium on the guitar.
It depends on which song.
Did you see Will on the Van Halen song trying to play medium?
I said it depends on which song. The Van Halen on bass is pretty fucking crazy, and that was just easy. The Van Halen was crazy on all levels. It would probably be crazy on the beginner's level as well.
What's the ultimate challenge? Yeah, I find it interesting that only 5 bands had special packages made on that. I just find that interesting. That 5 bands had special packages made. They were AC/DC, Metallica, the Beatles, Aerosmith, and Green Day.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected the last 2.
I know.
I thought that'd be something.
Oh no, sorry.
like
Did I say Van Halen?
No.
I had Van Halen to that as well. So AC/DC, Metallica. Help me out. AC/DC, Metallica,
You said Beatles.
Beatles,
You said
Aerosmith,
Aerosmith,
Green Day, and Van Halen. Sorry, 6.
Yeah.
There were 6 special packages made, and that's a pretty
It's not much.
it's a pretty strange mix.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't expect Green Day
No, me neither.
to have a special package made, and
They must have been desperate.
Aerosmith is kind of weirdly questionable, and it's like Van Halen. Let's pick the most difficult and complicated music. I mean, it's well known that Van Halen were like the most technically gifted musicians of their era,
Uh-huh.
and so that's like the ultimate challenge.
Uh-huh.
The Beatles is like, well, let's pick something that everybody knows. And
You would expect
loves
some
and understands.
classics like the Rolling Stones or something.
Well, you would expect the Rolling Stones. You would
Yeah.
maybe expect there to be a special like David Bowie package.
Yeah, or Elvis or Michael Jackson
Elton
or
John.
Elton John, yeah, or Madonna or
Oh, that's a good point. They're all male artists.
yeah.
There's no female artists there. That's a good point. Yeah. But is there? Yeah, you could do like Madonna would be a classic example.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else would be a good female artist to?
Well, the No Doubt was good.
Yeah, but they
You
had
know,
like 2
that would
albums.
be really
You know, you'd
cool.
have to have some. You'd have to have a band that had a legacy. I mean, they don't really have a legacy. They've got like 3 songs. Yeah, I mean that's not a legacy. I mean Green Day have got like 10 plus
That's
albums.
true.
They've been
You
around for
could,
20
you could do
plus years.
Alanis Morissette. She's quite prolific and rock and rolly, wasn't she?
Yeah, except everything went downhill after the first album.
Anouk was in there.
Tracy
Who had about a
Chapman.
million albums.
Tracy Chapman, that would be a good example.
Yeah.
A consistent artist who produced good music.
Could have Lady Gaga.
Did you get away from the Gaga Spears, all
Mm.
those ridiculous Rihanna sort of ridiculousness?
Beyonce.
We don't need that. All the songs would kind of sound the
That'd
same
be pretty
eventually.
cool, though. That would be pretty cool to have a bit more of that. It's still rock.
Well, you could have
Wouldn't
a
it be-
package. You could
Wouldn't
have
it
a
be great to have a
package
bit,
that was
bit
only
more,
women.
bit more bounce in it, you know?
Well, you could have a package that would be like women in rock and pop, and you could mix all that stuff together, and it would be good. But there's actually not that many female artists that have had that longevity, and also who've had songwriting skills. Because obviously Madonna doesn't write her own stuff, so you've got issues there. You'd have to find a female artist. You know, Alanis Morissette doesn't write her own stuff, so you'd have to find somebody who wasn't pre-packaged, because you then have lots of rights problems with the music, getting the rights to it. Interesting. Still, there you go.
You could have Janis Joplin.
Yeah, you could go back and do like an artist of the 60s or 70s or something.
You could
What
have,
about,
what's that fat woman's name?
I don't know, Aretha Franklin?
No, the new
Ella
fat.
Fitzgerald?
The new fat woman.
The new fat one?
The
Miss New Fat?
No, the
Fatty Pants?
Chubby. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. What's her name? I want nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me.
I feel like I've entered a Disney film.
What's her name? The big one.
What big one?
I can't remember her name.
I don't know. Chubby Tub Thumper. Is that right?
What's
I
her
don't know.
name? She's really good.
I really don't know. Maybe you could have like a gospel version or something. But I guess that would be too Christian.
Treat her better.
Adele.
Yes,
See?
that's her.
See?
You gotta let go.
I think she's overrated, to be honest. I think she had 2 songs
Yeah,
that
she,
were great
yeah,
and a lot of songs that were good but not great.
yeah. I
And
think so
I
too.
don't put it down to her not being a good artist. I think she's a great artist. I think the production of her songs was terribly done.
Yeah.
And
Who else was
I
there?
imagine she'd be great live, but
Lily
no.
Ellen. Lily Ellen was big, wasn't she? A little bit.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Can't remember.
It's like an Amy Winehouse thing. I suppose.
Amy Winehouse would be great because she had very singy songs.
Is that a term?
Yeah.
She has very singy songs.
She had really singy songs, and she didn't have many of them, but
Yeah,
I think that would be
the content was questionable though.
fun.
You get
That's true. You probably could
kids
sell it
walking
to
around
kids, yeah.
going, "You try to make me go to rehab." But it's like, no,
True.
no,
That's true.
that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
We've used 4 discs and we haven't used all the songs on the 4 discs because collectively there's like 300 songs on the 4 discs.
They should do Florence and the Machine.
Do they have more than like 2 or 3 good songs that are known and popular?
No.
There's hundreds. There's hundreds of bands with one or two good songs, and everybody's got their own favorite band. I guess it
Well, they
just
should
has
throw them in the mix. Maybe they will
I'm
be.
surprised. I'm surprised they did. I'm surprised they did Metallica, but maybe that's.
Oh, Metallica's. Bon Jovi they should do, right?
Oh yeah. That's a mistake. It's a mistake not.
It's a mistake not to do Bon Jovi.
Yes.
Bon Jovi's massive.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We did that Bon Jovi song the other day. The end of the song is not the same as the original end of the song.
No, it wasn't. It
went
was weird.
It went all weird in the last
Very weird.
bar.
Or things like U2, for example.
Yeah, there's a good one. Yeah. Bono's a dick, but U2's music is epic.
He's extremely
true.
small.
He's
I never realized he's so small.
He's been done for stealing money from people as well.
I haven't heard about them for ages. They haven't did. Do they still exist? Do they still produce anything?
Yes, they are trapped in the world of superstardom.
They're trapped
Which
in the world of we used to be popular, and we're trying to keep up.
No, it gets to the point where you don't have to do much anymore
Oh.
because you just sell the old stuff again and again and again.
Well,
I mean, you begin
that's what I
by
mean.
producing an album a year, and then it becomes an album every 2, and then 3, and then 4,
And then you retire.
and then you do an album maybe every 5 years. But oh yeah, the early U2 stuff is epic.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the Where the Streets Have the Rattle and Hum album is one of the greatest albums of all time. By U2, and I don't even like the band. But, I really don't. I don't even like.
I don't know anybody who didn't like U2.
I don't like the band.
U2.
I don't like the band, but that album is without a doubt an amazing album. Absolutely amazing album. One of the very first songs I learned to play on guitar was "Sunday Bloody Sunday" by U2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the first 5 songs I learned to play on guitar. Was that song?
I can't remember what was the first songs that I used to play.
Sunday Bloody
I'm
Sunday.
leaving on a jet plane.
I don't even know what
I
that
played
is.
that one.
What's that?
I don't know. Don't know when I'll be back again. It's not U2.
I'm not sure that that's a real song, but because it could be any song.
No, it is a song. Shania Twain. Or that's
not a
not the
real
song, but
version.
well, I mean that's what you could do with the.
You couldn't, because Shania Twain is just Def Leppard for women.
I don't know what's Def Leppard,
Def Leppard was one of the biggest rock bands of all time.
and that's why you couldn't do a Xbox version.
Uh,
Is that the reason why you couldn't do an Xbox version?
No, because look, I know too much about the weird background stuff there because of my history. So the Shania Twain was just Def Leppard for country music fans because it was the same producer, and they just took the Def Leppard style in songs and turned them into country and put a woman's voice over the top, and then you had Shania Twain.
Yes, that's okay. But why does that make it not possible to have an Xbox version thing?
Because she had one good album.
Oh, okay. Which one was that?
It's always the first one. It's always the first one. The first one is always great. Garth Brooks. You see, country music is big.
She was terrible.
You could have a Garth Brooks one. I got friends in low places.
You could have the woman with that inoffensive voice. What's her name?
What the fuck? Remember that woman with the inoffensive? No, no idea who you're talking about.
Nora Jones.
Come away with me.
She's got inoffensive voice.
Oh, does the sort of dreamy
Yeah. But she's very singy. You know, she would be good for the singy songs. Easier to sing them than freaking AC/DC.
Frank
That's for
Sinatra.
sure.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a like an age disparity thing. I don't think that the kids that play Xbox are that much into Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
if your
that's a
mum
good point.
wanted to play Xbox, it would make sense, you know.
I don't know. I don't even know what the friggin' kids listen to today. What do they listen to?
I don't know.
Disturbed.
Florence and the Machines.
um,
I don't know.
The
what they listen to.
Prodigy.
No idea.
That's still like 25 years old.
They died, no? They died. Keith died.
Yeah, well, they all die.
Recently.
They all die young because they spend their lives on
Was
tour,
he young?
drinking alcohol.
I mean, I
popping pills.
couldn't have possibly been young.
No, it must have been over 50 for sure.
Oh, there you go. That's old.
Yeah, it is. It is for that.
Well, it's older than
genre of
Kurt
things.
or Amy, right? So
Yeah, they all lived fast and died young. James Dean style. Elvis. You have one with Elvis. If you do the Beatles, you can do Elvis. Right? No, I see you're not
no,
impressed
he's
with
not.
that.
He's not as classic as Beatles.
What?
Kids wouldn't play Elvis.
I thought Elvis was bigger than the Beatles.
Yes, but not. Elvis is not something that kids are going to sit around the fire, bonfire with guitar and play it and sing along at the camp, right?
You're right. You're right. For sure.
I know. I'm always right.
Yeah, but Green Day is a strange choice.
Green Day is weird.
I guess that appeals to the
Green Day
kids.
is weird. Oh, Pearl Jam would be cool. They probably didn't have.
I fucking
many
hate
good-
Pearl Jam.
Really?
The first album
I
is
like Pearl
the
Jam.
first album is genius,
Oh,
but
that's it.
I have to. Yeah, it's like it's.
Which
they-
one
they
was the
ne-
first? Was 10.
10.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 10 is an amazing
10 is
album.
great,
It's
yeah.
a really, really beautiful album, and And then as with all bands, that's like the first album has 10 good songs, and the second album has 6 or 7 good songs, and the third album has 3 or
Two.
4. Yeah, it gets like that. And by the time you get to the fourth album, it's just why are they doing this anymore? And then they just try to rewrite the first album again and again, and don't get anywhere. It's like the comfort of the fame destroys the energy that created the music in the first place. There's very few people who have kept it raw and real.
Also maybe
Neil Young would be an example.
Also maybe the effort to recreate what brought the fame is the problem as well, rather than moving to something new. Because that's what kept people like Madonna in it, isn't it? That she changed.
Oh yeah, but in a highly schizophrenic way, though, because every album was a different concept.
Yeah.
And so there was always something fresh for her audience.
Yeah.
And the audience never knew quite what to expect, except that they would sort of expect the unexpected, and that she'd be doing something that fit into a certain genre.
Or look at Michael Jackson, right? He kept the basic of his music, right? What made his music his. But he changed that as well. He always brought something new, something fresh into whatever he was doing.
I don't think he did, to be honest.
I think he did.
Give me an example.
Well, okay, look at the Thriller album. It was completely different than his songs about save the world or whatever, right? I mean, there were differences.
Yeah, I would say there was desperation. I wouldn't say there were differences, because Thriller as an album, with the exception of the song Thriller, is no different from his previous album, which was Off the Wall. They were all basically, beats with guitars. I mean, with the exception of the song Thriller with its like horror movie element to it, the rest of the album was pretty much the same as Off the Wall, and Bad followed the same principle as the Thriller album, then Dangerous followed the same principle as the Bad album. There was very little, if any, diversity.
Yeah, that's true.
No, the one song that you pick out to sort of heal the world, a slow ballad with 3 chords that anybody could write in 5 minutes, is that different from what he was doing? Yes, because it was sort of high-powered dance stuff that he was doing, and that was a really, really slow song, and I think that's a risk that the artist takes. But it's also playing it safe as well, because the ballad is the safe choice, because you're not going to offend anybody by saying let's make the world a better place. Meanwhile, you're getting prosecuted for paedophilia at the same time, which is pretty scary.
Yeah, well.
Mr. Neverland and his Neverworld. And no one will ever know.
Anyway, he doesn't have a thing.
What? He doesn't have one?
No.
No, that would sort of be kind of interesting, but I guess that you could do it with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they make those decisions. I mean, I guess they must have like 100 bands, and they must like go through them, and they're going to have people saying, "No, we don't want this done." And
maybe it's the bands as well. Maybe it's maybe it depends on how far forward the bands or the managers of the bands are in their thinking.
Well,
maybe Green Day just had a really cool manager who realized, who had kids and realized that this would be a really good idea to do this for Green Day, so why don't we do it? And you went after it and did it, and that's why they do it. Have it. Blah. You know what I mean? Maybe there's not some kind of... There's no high council Xbox people who decide about which band to choose. Maybe it's the bands that have to go after it themselves.
It's a huge project, though. I mean, it's one thing it's a pretty simple process to record an album now, but to make a game out of the music
That's pretty cool.
is a much more complex process. Because you have to go into what each instrument is doing on each song.
Yeah, I get
and
it.
then break it down into 5 levels.
I get it.
That's
I
wild.
understand that. It's very complex.
That's really wild. Anyway, did we have the Green Day one? I haven't taken that out of its box yet.
I don't know, but it states that is it time to finish now? Because I don't like to have to rush.
You don't like to have to rush?
I don't like to have to rush. Because I have to look for the kids' football stuff. I have no idea where it is.
Oh, that takes a while.
Yeah.
That takes a while. Well, we've got time.
How much?
It's not even 8 o'clock yet.
It's not even 8 o'clock yet.
It's not even 8 o'clock.
We
and
have
don't
to leave at 9:30. So that's
And,
8:30. Okay, we've got time. Okay.
We have got time.
Aye.
That is the one thing that we have got. Time. We have got time. Do you want to hear a funny story? Which is not funny.
You have to teach the lady that you were teaching last night how to properly pronounce Nibother.
I had enough problems trying to get her to understand I yesterday.
Because she called me, because we were talking and she told me Nebottom.
Bottom.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And, and it
Why would
took
you
me
want
a
to
while.
choose that? That's funny.
It took me a while to understand what she was actually saying. That she
Well,
was
no, I
trying to
did.
speak
I
Scottish.
did teach her nay bother. I mean, obviously she's.
Nebottom. It was funny.
Are you coming? Nay bottom. What does that mean? She's lost her bottom. I don't know.
Anyway, I didn't want to correct her because I just couldn't be bothered. Actually, I thought that's your job.
Yes, it is my job. It's
Yeah,
not
so-
other people's job to correct her.
Yeah.
That's what she employs me to correct her.
Exactly.
Everybody employs me to correct them.
If I wanted to
It's
correct
bizarre.
people, then I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
But you're correcting people all the time, just not directly. Your job is to correct people indirectly.
I don't correct them. I bitch.
Well, your job is to bitch then,
Yes.
directly,
No.
indirectly.
Bitching is just a side product.
Background
of what
bitching.
I'm doing. Yeah.
You're a background bitch. There's a rock song in there
I'm
somewhere.
a background bitch. I'm a background bitcher.
She's a background bitcher,
Yeah.
and she fits in the picture.
Oh, but only if I do proofreading, which I don't usually do. Which I only do in extreme circumstances if I have nothing else to do. I hate proofreading. I like translating, but I do not like proofreading.
That's a ridiculous term, proofreading.
I know. I just don't because it exasperates me.
That's a good word. How do you feel? Today I feel exasperated.
I often feel exasperating, when I proofread, which is
Tinted.
funny because I applied for a
That's
proofreading
not
job
my
with
name.
Google, but
What?
yeah,
Yeah. She said, yeah.
happiness. I want to sing now.
Well, don't let me hold you back from letting your dreams become realities.
Yeah. Not now, like in podcast. I'm like with the kids. It's good that we're singing in the car. I think that helps.
Car singing.
I think car singing should be made into like a family tradition thing.
I need to remake that CD because I don't like the order of tracks.
No,
on
me
it.
neither. I don't like some of the tracks either. You should put better tracks on it.
Well, it was done in like 20 minutes and a bit
Yeah,
of a rush job, and it's
I
pretty
get it.
epic considering
Like
the fact it was done in
the can song. I don't like
The what?
the can song.
The what can song?
The one that sounds like you're playing cans.
Oh, Janet Jackson's Black Cat.
Is that Janet Jackson? Oh gosh. Yeah, it sounds like she's stuck in a can
Yes.
playing it.
Yeah, the one that I can't work out any of the words to.
Sounds
I
like she's
cannot
in the
understand
toilet.
any of the
something.
words.
Yeah.
Although Jazz was walking around singing it yesterday.
Yeah. Will understands the words. He sings
Are
that.
you gonna die?
Yeah, Jazz is so funny when she goes, "You better watch your step or
Are you
you gonna
gonna
die."
There you go. I had a couple of funny stories lined up, but they've just exited my brain.
Oh well, that
Um,
happens.
I
She sang the beautiful thing. What's it called?
what?
The
The beautiful people.
no the woman, the 18-year-old,
What?
the beauty queen of only 18.
What? Maroon 5.
Yeah, she will be loved. That's the song. Yeah.
Beauty queen of only 18. Doesn't go that way, but never mind.
Uh-huh. She was singing that, and I thought she was singing it really well because she hit all the notes. And for a 4-year-old, it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
She's a couple of times she's got up and picked up the microphone and sung along
Yeah.
with things.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. She
She's
should do
cool.
that. She should sing more because she's got a good, strong voice and she's got an ear for music. So she could
Have to
actually
find the right
work it
songs.
up to something.
I'm going to have to rework that CD. I think I've rather stupidly deleted all the songs from the computer. I'll have to go back and download them
As it
again.
happens. Yeah.
And
Will keeps
remake
panicking
it.
inwardly because he doesn't know what happened to the case from the CD.
The case from which CD?
The CD that's in the car. The one that always plays. The Maroon 5 one. He thought he brought it inside and he can't find it and he's panicking. And he probably didn't tell you about it because he's probably scared that you're going to freak out.
Yeah, that's not an issue. Anyway.
It's been lost for about 2 weeks or so.
What songs should be on that CD then?
Beauty queen of...
Yeah, okay, don't have to fucking say that, okay? You don't have to do that. Anyway,
I don't know yet.
the Fascination should definitely be on it.
I don't know yet.
Fascination.
Ask Will.
Do, 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 do,
He likes
do,
to sing
do.
La Bamba.
Yeah, that's on a different. That's from a different CD.
Set. It doesn't really
C-
matter.
C-
no.
CD though. I was trying to keep them. I was trying to have some order so that I didn't mix the different songs from different CDs.
Mhm.
So I'm not. What? I'd have to go back and check.
Did you listen to the Anouk song?
No, the only time I've ever heard it, actually, I haven't ever heard it because I had to play along with it
Mhm.
without actually hearing it because I was so focused on playing the drums.
Well, you can't
directly.
really hear it when you're playing it, because everything else is kind of quieter than whoever is playing.
Yeah, to a certain extent, that's right. Yes.
So you couldn't really hear it very well.
Oh, I've got two stories for you, right, just to finish with,
Okay.
because I know we have to finish. I've got two stories. The first story is, you might have heard me say Ben 10 quite a lot recently.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you have.
No, I've heard you saying it once.
You've heard me saying it once. Well, that's my secret code to Will to get him to stop playing with his bimbish.
Oh.
Because every hour he's walking around grabbing it and holding it and scratching it and rubbing it, and when he's talking to people in conversation he just grabs his dick when he's talking to them, and it's really bizarre. So I had to create this code to get him to stop it.
Ben 10.
I have to say Ben 10.
Does he get it?
Yeah.
Does he get it instantly?
Oh, I had to. I had to take him to one side and say, "Look, Will, you can't," because he was talking to everyone he was talking to. He started grabbing
Uh-huh.
his dick in the middle of talking to them. I'm like, Will, you can't do that, man.
It's the homeschooled kid. They don't know how to socialize.
That'll be it. So at least 10 times a day I have to say to him, Ben 10, and he's like, oh, and he's anyway, he's obviously not aware that he's doing it.
Kids, apparently boys do it sometimes. Well, not always while talking to people, but that is a bit bizarre. But
Yeah, it's just it's going to happen in the wrong time in the wrong place
Yeah.
if he's not careful. So
Well, like while he's trying to hit on a girl when
he's
he's
trying to
15.
talk to a girl. It's like 9. He's trying to talk to a girl who's 9. He just starts grabbing his dick in the middle of the conversation. It's not cool, right?
Mm.
Little things that you have to get around with kids.
Mhm.
Anyway, and the other thing, that was my first not funny story, so that wasn't
Mhm.
funny at all. And the second story is that I made a little bet on eBay for £5 for something,
Mm.
and then I was
It's
like,
not a pair of leggings for me, is it?
"Oh, how did you know?" Yeah, I mean, I know that you needed them, and I
I know
spent
'cause you
quite a lot of spent quite a lot of time scrolling through leggings.
Yeah, I know, I know.
On-
You
on
keep
eBay.
buying me leggings, and that's how I thought.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Okay. Uh-huh. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I buy Babka's leggings for her as well. For her
Along with
exercise
everything else.
routines. Yeah. No, I made this like the £5 bet for a couple of games, which I thought was a good deal, and then I realised afterwards it wasn't. So I'm really hoping that I lose. Because
Probably
somebody
won't.
was selling like 10 games for an Xbox for £5. I'm like, oh, that looks like a good deal. And then I looked at the games and I'm like, oh, that kind of looks interesting. That kind of looks interesting. That kind of looks interesting. Okay. Oh, I can bet £5 on this. And then afterwards I was like, that was a really bad deal. So I'm really hoping that I get outbid.
What, 50p per game? It's a really bad deal.
Well, it is because I discovered that of the 10 games,
Huh?
2 of them are for, it says the Xbox, but I realized it's the pre-360 Xbox. There was
the
actually
Xbox One?
No, the Xbox One is a new one.
Oh.
The Xbox One is a new one. Before the Xbox One, there was the Xbox 360, and I only learned before the Xbox 360 there was something called the Xbox. It's probably natural for people who know about things like that. And first of all, 2 of the games were for the Xbox, and one of the reasons that I bet on it was because there was a Spider-Man game, and I thought that they're quite rare to find, and I thought Will would like it. But it turns out that game is only for the original Xbox, although some games for the original Xbox actually play on the Xbox 360, blah, 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 but we don't know about this. I did do a bit of research on it, and it says it should play, but sometimes it doesn't, so yeah, whatever. So I thought, darn, I made a bad move there.
Well, I made a good move because I bought a Galore Park Math 5 book for Will for £6. Usually costs about 16.
Good job.
And
Good jobbington.
it has been sent yesterday, so it's probably going to arrive at the beginning of next week.
I'm also learning about the different sellers on eBay and how to tell who's a good seller and who's not. And it's not just about looking at the reviews. You've got to sort of scout around and scan the information and work out who's a real seller and who's not. There's just little scams going on there.
Mhm.
So the best way to get around the scams is to click on sellers' other items and see what other items they've got for sale, and then judge from that whether or not.
For
it's a
example, so what? How did you tell me about one seller that you identified that is not a real seller?
Well, it's not a good person to sell from. Well, if someone is selling random stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's a sign that they're not. They probably don't know a lot about what it is they're selling, because you get people who are specifically focused on selling things from certain genres. Okay, they sell certain types of books, or
Mm-hmm.
they sell certain kinds of clothing, or, and so they kind of know their market, and they know what they're selling and who they're selling to. But if it's just a bunch of random shit,
You mean if it's just a person selling their stuff from home?
well, it would be more than that. You could tell that also, not just it being random, but the types of photographs of the products. You can tell people who've put more effort into making the product look good, right?
Yeah, but
And
that's
people who've just,
natural.
I've got this shirt and I'm just going to hang it up on the wall and take a picture of it with my phone. And
I was looking for something on eBay. Sorry to disturb you, but there was actually a listing where a woman took 5 pictures of the T-shirt that she was selling in the dark.
well, that's what I'm saying.
In the dark, complete dark. You couldn't work out the color of the clothes because it was in the dark with like what looked like half a flash, because you could only see like half the clothing because the rest was in the dark, and you couldn't work out the color of it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You go to the person's seller's other items, and if it's random stuff, or it's
Like if it's random stuff, it's possible that it's just somebody selling stuff that he's got in his garage. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad.
Yeah, but there's a higher probability that it will be because they probably haven't checked it. They're probably just selling it because it's lying around. They probably don't care that much about it.
I don't know. I know.
It's better to sell from people who know what they're selling.
I bought my shoes, for example, and some of my clothes from eBay from random sellers who don't specialize in selling clothes, who just sell them because they've wore them and they don't need them anymore. But maybe selling clothes is
you can go
different.
to their sites and you can click other items and you can see if they've taken nice pictures of the things. And
Yeah.
they have an
Well, I
understanding
always
of
choose
it.
the nice pictures.
Mm.
Just because when I see a shitty picture, I first of all don't find the item attractive, and second of all, I think, well, if this person can't take a proper picture, then they can't take a proper care of their things. Which might not be true, but that's how my mind works. So
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I mean, so there was that disc that I bought that had a scratch on it where they refunded everything quickly as well. It wasn't an issue. And one of the reasons that I got the disc was that they said like we will solve any problems as quickly as possible if you have any problems with our products. I was like, okay, that sounds like a pretty good deal. And then I looked at the reviews after I got the disc and disc is scratched. And I'm like, this is not good. So I gotta write back to them, take a picture, write back to them, say like I want a refund because it's not good. And they were like, okay, no problem. We'll exchange the product or refund. What would you like? I'm like, refund, and they refunded the money. And so, anyway, I looked at the reviews, and like there's 20 or 30 reviews of these people are scammers. Never buy from them. The product is not what it says it is. Yeah, and that's really confusing because yes, I am unhappy that the product was not what I wanted. But it wasn't a scam because they refunded everything.
I have a suspicion that you have trolls at eBay, just like you have everywhere else, that post these negative things, because I have seen things like, extremely good reviews, like this person has like 250 good reviews and 3 bad reviews.
Yeah, but are the good reviews real? I mean, you can go to a review. I know to go to a review, and
Well,
I
yes, I know you
I know
can tell.
I know
Yeah.
instantly if it's a real review or it's
I
they've
know.
got someone just to
I know.
write something.
I get it. But so it's the same with the bad reviews as well, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, no, but these were real bad reviews.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not just bad product or scammer, or because those are the ones that are fake, right? The ones that are just great product, fantastic service, those are all fake. Yeah, anything that's 2 or 3 words is a fake review.
Not just that; it's when it's general and it's practical. I mean, you could have somebody saying, "I have a great experience with this seller because blah blah blah." I mean, it could be 3 sentences and it could be fake, right?
Yeah, no, people don't.
When it's general.
No, that doesn't happen.
But
Doesn't
what I use when I try to decide if it's real or fake is I look at whether they give specific information or not.
Oh yeah.
I bought a pair of tights and they had a hole on the left bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anything that's not a specific reference. It's like anything that's fake on Instagram or YouTube. You know, it's anything that doesn't specifically reference the content, specifically an element of the content is fake. I loved this post. Well, that's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're fantastic. Keep it up, mate. That's fake. So there's lots of stuff like that. Anyway, there you go. We should move on to the next daily activity, which is search for the kids' football stuff.
The only thing that keeps me going right now is the thought of the gym. Is that weird?
No, it's not the only thing that keeps me going.
It's the only thing that keeps me going right now. Is the thought of the gym.
The other thing that keeps me going is the thought it might get warm one day.
I have to get there. I have to start moving and do these things that I don't want to do because that's what needs to be done to get to the gym, which is the grand prize at the end. Okay. Let's.
Fire-breathing dragons.
Let's face them.
Fire-breathing dragons. Let's slay the dragons.
Let's not slay the dragons. Let's face the dragons.
Face the music. Slay the dragons.
Face the dragons. Slay the music.
Eat the
I think that
breakfast.
sounds better. Yeah, we have oats.
I'm sure we do.
We have lots of oats.
Whatever floats your boat. Right. Say bye to the people.
Bye, the people.
Bye to the people. Enunciate. Pronunciate.
Pronunciate.
Pronunciate properly, for fuck's sake.
Alright. Bye, the people.
Did. Done.